Please subscribe.
Focus. We're seeing the resurrection of the car brand. After decades without a way or reason, Lincoln is ready to make a rebound, with the new Aviator 3-push utility vehicle taking it to statures unheard of only a couple of years prior. In the ongoing past, on the off chance that you thought of Lincoln, expecting you invested any energy whatsoever thinking about Ford's extravagance division, things like air terminal transports, podiatrist arrangements and Lawrence Welk reruns likely rung a bell. It was a brand that spoke to armada clients, geriatric drivers and pretty much no one else. Be that as it may, what a distinction some time and a little consideration can make. Lincoln's most recent yield of the vehicles is pleasantly separated from rivals, gives an interesting extravagance experience and carries genuine substance to the market. The Aviator is an ideal case of Lincoln's new course. This nameplate may not be very as recognizable as Navigator or Continental, yet it is one Lincoln has utilized previously. In the mid-2000s, Aviator was applied to an upscale, Ford Explorer-based SUV. Today, the automaker is following that equivalent procedure, yet with a wind. Rather than including customary, body-on-outline development, the establishment of Lincoln's best-in-class is an unflinchingly inflexible unibody stage, Dearborn's fresh out of the plastic new, back-wheel drive CD6 design. Those underpinnings likewise beauty the Aviator with upscale extents. To this, creators applied perfect, elegant styling, including the brand's marked rectangular grille and a roofline that tenderly decreases at the back. No, this SUV doesn't break any new ground, however it fits in pleasantly with the remainder of Lincoln's lineup. Snatch one of its electrically worked entryway handles, they're quite cool and make a fantastic column sound when utilized. Slide inside, and you're blessed to receive a lodge that is similarly as mindfully made as the outside. Its general format is basic and direct, with a low, wide dashboard, tablet-motivated infotainment screen and in excess of a trace of mid-century configuration reviewing Lincoln's greatness days of the mid-1960s. While mitigated contrasted with the Continental, there's still a lot chrome inside, in any event, for my, truly, mixed taste. Glossy silk completed, brushed metal accents would look progressively suitable and lessen glare in brilliant daylight. In any case, this vehicle's essential and auxiliary controls are of high caliber, with the cassette player roused, electronic rigging selector feeling especially premium. Indeed, even wearing mid-level reserve trim there's a lot of low gleam, delicate plastic and premium calfskin, yet this isn't the point of confinement. Spring for a best-in-class black label model and you're blessed to receive more, including extraordinary, themed insides and a pile of one-of-a-kind proprietor benefits, as complimentary vehicle washes at taking an interest vendors, no-charge vehicle upkeep, and free yearly itemizing for the initial 4 years of possession. The Aviator's accessible perfect position front base and seats alter in an incredible 30 ways, they're likewise warmed, ventilated, offer a scope of back rub choices and are absolutely worth the independent $7,730 upcharge on reserve trim models. Indeed, they pause for a moment or 5 to get dialed in perfectly, yet once you do, they're throughout the day agreeable. The accessible second push basins are additionally comfortable, with a lot of help and pleasantly calculated lower pads. They, as well, can be warmed and ventilated for most extreme solace. It's just in steerage where the Aviator misses the mark. You'd best save the third push seat for kids on the grounds that even normal estimated grown-ups are going to confront a genuine legroom shortfall whenever compelled to stay there. In any event, the backrests control crease at the push of a catch, altogether expanding the Aviator's load-pulling ability. With every one of the 3 lines in their upstanding and vaulted position, this vehicle offers in excess of 18 cubic feet of baggage space. Drop the third column and that figure swells to almost 42. Overlap the subsequent line down and the full Monty is yours, barely short of 78 solid shapes. With regards to its general topic of smooth and calm, this SUV can be fitted with Lincoln's Airglide suspension with dynamic lower entry, which is packaged with versatile directing and a street-checking framework in the $3,000 dynamic handling package. This clever element empowers the Aviator to assimilate and process even the nastiest street blemishes without bothering travelers. Conveying that rich smooth ride, this framework includes a front-oriented camera that peruses the street ahead. It can distinguish surface blemishes any place somewhere in the range of 2 and 8 inches high and remunerate in like manner so the vehicle just skims along. I initially drove the Aviator in Napa Valley a while prior and wasn't appallingly intrigued by this air suspension game plan. It didn't appear to do much on California's commonly well-looked-after interstates. Yet, subsequent to testing this vehicle in Michigan, where our streets are more bomb-cratered than the avenues of Berlin in the spring of 1945, I immediately developed to adore it. The framework resolves significant knocks and plunges all while keeping the body on level. My test vehicle's ride quality was particularly great when you think of it as moved on enormous, 22-inch wheels enclosed by moderately low-profile elastic, 275/40 R22 Goodyear Eagle touring tires. About the main drawback to that air suspension is the cost. Grabbing the framework requires you get an all-wheel drive, reserve trim model or higher. In addition, a few expensive alternatives bundles are additionally required. All in, this expands the sticker price by in excess of $15,000 contrasted with a standard reserve model. Moving, the Aviator is basically constantly satiny, however never messy as you may anticipate. Taking care of is fastened down, however, lamentably, the controlling is without feel and the wheel hesitant to focus itself subsequent to making turns, which is somewhat irritating. Talking about the wheel, for reasons unknown, the voice enactment button for the infotainment framework is mounted on the edge at generally the 10 o'clock position. Despite the fact that it's marginally recessed, I coincidentally hit it on various events. While not even close as monster as the Navigator, there's no mixing up it. The Aviator is as yet a liberally partitioned vehicle. The wheelbase estimates 119.1 inches while its general length is 199.3. Size-wise, this puts it directly in accordance with other upscale SUVs like the Audi Q7, Mercedes-Benz GLE and Cadillac's fresh-out-of-the-box new XT6. Nonetheless, the Aviator has increasingly overjoyed torque and apparatuses than every one of those contenders, spare the most intense AMG variants of that Benz. Inspiration is given by a smooth-running, 3.0-liter, twin-turbocharged V6. With direct fuel infusion and other cutting-edge treats, it conveys 400 strength and 415 pound-feet of torque. Boosting execution and productivity, this power plant is coordinated to a standard 10-speed programmed gearbox. Generally, this transmission is refined, easily slurring movements while dallying along in heavy traffic and, decisively, dropping a bunch of proportions when you cover the quickening agent. Periodically, the 1-2 upshift is somewhat jerky, however something else, the transmission is practically on point, with none of the moving industry you may anticipate from a gearbox flooding with proportions. On the off chance that you need more than the effectively sufficient exhibition offered by the Aviator, you can likewise get a Grand Touring model. It includes a modular crossbreed drivetrain that trenches out 494 horsepower and 640 pounds-feet of bend. Given its size, and about 4,900-pound check weight, you may be astounded by the Aviator's increasing speed, which is easy in almost every circumstance. In the case of sitting or at red line, the motor is constantly refined and delicately spoken. As indicated by the EPA, back-wheel drive Aviators are appraised at 18 miles for every gallon in city driving, 26 on the expressway and 21 miles per gallon joint. Examples fitted with all-wheel drive should return 17 around town and 24 on interstate trudges, calculates that make for a normal of 20 miles per gallon. Following 7 days of genuine world and overwhelming footed driving, I arrived at the midpoint of around 19.5 miles per gallon, superior to anticipated. As you may envision, the Aviator offers a lot of tech. Lincoln Copilot 360 is standard, the automaker's suite of cutting-edge driver helps. Lincoln Copilot 360 Plus, which carries additional usefulness to the table, accompanies the $4,930 Reserve-I bundle. This incorporates things like dynamic park help in addition, path-focusing tech and speed sign acknowledgement just as shifty guiding and brake help. Versatile journey control is likewise included. While not the smoothest framework available today, it, regardless, makes an okay showing of keeping the vehicle in the focal point of its path and of changing velocity as per traffic conditions. It will carry the Aviator to a sheltered stop as required, however it frequently feels like the vehicle is charging too rapidly at the vehicle ahead, which can be a touch of unsettling. The Aviator's path-keeping help framework has the contrary issue. It feels a piece excessively delicate, nearly to the point of being inadequate. However, it does even now keep the SUV corral generally in the focal point of its path. It's only not as confident as opponent frameworks available today. From the start, I thought something was genuinely amiss with my test Aviator's versatile journey control. At whatever point it perceived another speed limit sign, the speed I had picked would shoot up by 14 miles per hour justifiably. This erratic exchanging was exceptionally offensive, yet in the wake of burrowing through several settings I got to the base of what was happening. It turns out there's a canny journey control highlight that, when set, progressively modifies the vehicle's speed as speed limits change. This component additionally has a resilience setting that enables you to pick how much quicker or more slow than as far as possible the vehicle will go. Also, learn to expect the unexpected. Somebody had expanded this to 14 miles per hour, dropping it to 0, or simply putting the voyage control framework in standard versatile mode fixed the issue. One cutting edge include